everybody, we're in Sautee, Nacoochee, if I'm pronouncing that right, Georgia, at Hardman Farm State Historic Site. We passed by last year and we wanted to stop in, but we didn't. So since we're passing through the area again today, we said we would stop in and see. So are you ready?
Yes.
Let's go. So it says that was the dairy manager's residence. No access at this point. We're finally down to the visitor center after all that walking. Right there, it's really pretty. This is inside the gift shop. Those are pretty. Oh, that is so pretty there. This is a nice gift shop.
Oh, I used to the cabbage patch up there.
Oh, yeah. I love the Christmas decorations. So this is Hardman Farm State Historic Site. This one says Hardman Farm Historic Site. 3 families at the farm. So we had James Hall Nichols, Calvin Wellborn Honeycutt, and Lamartine Griffin Hardman. And she said that Anna Ruby is who Anna Ruby Falls is named after down there the road in Helen. The sign says Springer Mountain Farms is simply superior chicken. And Springer Mountain Farms is a family-owned poultry company based in Northeast Georgia that believes in taking care of our chickens and our people. Our integrity and values extend to our farmers, flocks, and community, including preservation and conservation of important historical sites like Hardman Farm. Springer Mountain Farms is proud to support the Georgia Department of Natural Resources efforts to preserve Hardman Farm and the rich history in our backyard of Northeast Georgia. So it says Hardman Farm Historic Site. Welcome to Hardman Farm. Welcome to Hardman Farm Historic Site. Below is a site map showing the location of the farm's 17 buildings, 1 ruin, and the gazebo. All except the gazebo are located on this property and can be reached by one of our many paths. The gazebo is located across Highway 17 and is not open to visitors. An interpretive panel about the Nacoochee Mound and its gazebo is located at the front of the house. Then we got Bob C. Minish caretaker's house. When Dr. Hardman established the Nacoochee Dairy, he needed a full-time dairy manager at the farm, especially since he lived most of the year at his commerce home of the governor's mansion. Therefore, he built this small farmhouse to provide for his dairy manager's family. Several dairymen worked at the farm, including Mr. Westmoreland, Mr. Cannon, and Mr. Davison, before Mr. Bob Minish arrived in the early 1920s. So that's that up there. This says this is the Unicoi Road. The Cherokee once walked through this valley along an ancient trail when traveling from their town of Overhill, Tennessee, to the settlements in the Carolinas and Georgia. Earlier, this north-south trading route existed as one of an extensive series of Native American footpaths that crisscrossed the North American continent, but long before the arrival of the first European explorers. We shall walk the path. So this right here is explaining the mound over there. That is the Nacoochee Mound. The Atlanta Constitution ran a story entitled Nacoochee Gems on January 4th, 1891 about the wonderful Indian artifacts recovered in the valley. It stated that the area was certainly the favored resort of a very advanced tribe of Indians in Nacoochee Valley. Their home and burial ground is evidenced by the many curious and well-carved relics found here. Captain Nichols had a large cabinet of them found all over this valley, which is perhaps the finest collection in Georgia, except the one in possession of Colonel C.C. Jones. Some of them were found by the miners of Duke's Creek, while others were taken from Indian graves that surround the mound in front of Captain Nichols' residence. And this over here shows the early days of the mound. And that's it right over there. So if you don't come to the farm, there's actually a little pull off over there in front of the mound that you can stop out and take a picture of it. So this is the residence at West End. Architectural historians define the Italianate style as having 2 or 3 stories, a low-pitched roof with wide overhanging eaves with decorative brackets underneath. This style has tall, narrow windows, commonly arched or curved and frequently with elaborate crowns. Many examples have a square cupola. One glance at Nichols' residence provides most viewers with all the evidence they need to identify this home as a typical of the Italianate period. And that right there is a glance inside. Now, the lady did say that the house is not open today, but we could go on the porch to see it decorated for Christmas. So I know you're going to stay down here, aren't you? So I'll walk up there. That's fine. This is a beautiful home. It's like they had a party. You see they got the hydrangeas on the Christmas tree. That's pretty. Ooh, look at that swing. I've never seen one like that before. And they're not open for house tours today. That would have been pretty to see, though. All these Christmas trees inside. If I had a house like this, I'd be out here all the time on the porch. Just couldn't help myself. Ooh. I guess that's as far as I can go on this side. I gotta go back down the front steps. I had to find Mom. She went somewhere. That's the back of the house there. So this right here talks about the fountain and greenhouse. In 1875, the Union Recorder published a letter about Captain Nichols' estate written by a recent visitor. It read, Captain Nichols' place at the lower end of the valley is the great attraction for all strangers. He has a perfect palace in the way of a house, and his grounds and flowers are exquisite. It is his, Nichols' perfect delight to entertain you, show you all over the house and grounds. Nothing is too much trouble for him to do for you, and he will pull far and present to you his rarest flowers. Indeed, I think his only regret always seems to be that he can't give you his whole place and let you take it home with you. Oh, that's real nice. And the fountain is over here. So that over there is the game room. And it says, in a display of wealth, James Nichols built a game or gentleman's house across the creek from his residence. Here, male visitors could smoke, drink, and tell tall tales. Originally, this was a 2-room structure that was later modified to 6 rooms with 2 porches. Used for entertaining his male guests, the house contained a large game room on the 2nd floor for billiards and cards, and a library as well as several bedrooms. The 1st floor was originally unfinished and served as a kennel for Nichols' hunting dogs. Over the years, the house was modified to be used as a residence for one of the caretaker's families. So it looks like they have an elevator that they could take you up with so you can tour the house if need be.
From the house. They had a breezeway to the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Because if the kitchen burnt,
The house didn't.
burn. That's what they do.
But it's painted in schoolhouse red, isn't it?
Yeah. But that's what it is.
How about that right there?
And I think that black on the other side tells you what them 2 rooms
Oh, really?
is.
Oh, I got to go over there and read it then.
You got to catch this one right here. Because like this,
Yeah.
right down there with black. So that's what they're for. That's the kitchen. And the kitchen's on plastic.
Well, that's a good thing. Oh, you can walk in this one. Ooh. That's an old dresser there. Wow. Old beds too. Old chamber pots down there. So it says these 2 buildings were the spring house and the gas house. So the spring house is the white one, and it says James Nichols built this elaborate spring house to utilize a natural spring and stream for refrigeration and a source of fresh water. The constant cool temperature of the running water was used to chill and keep food such as meat, fruits, and dairy products throughout the year. The small building set below grade straddles a running stream. Its thick masonry walls increased its ability to maintain a cool temperature even on warm summer days. And the gas house, it was the use of coal gas produced by burning coal to light private residences, began circa 1817. By the beginning of the Civil War, every state in the Union except Arkansas had at least one coal gas producing plant in a major city. Much more common in the northern states, southern homes continued to only rely on other forms of lighting. For those consumers that did not live near such plants, innovative manufacturers produced a gas apparatus designed to provide an economical source of gas for a single household. Most of these machines relied on the burning of coal to produce a gas. And that sun is not good right now. But anyway, that's what that is. And that's the stream right there running through. I think Mom said that the board about these things over here was out here. So let me see if I can find that real quick before we mosey on. I do like the schoolhouse red color though. That is so pretty. So this right here was the breezeway, smokehouse, servants' quarters, and kitchen. So this was the servants' quarters right here where the beds were at. That right there was the kitchen, and that was the breezeway. And it says, around 1910, Emma Hardman requested that the breezeway be constructed to connect the rear of the house to the detached kitchen. She wanted their servants to remain dry while carrying food from the kitchen to the house during inclement weather. The detached kitchen was built by James Nichols when the house was constructed circa 1870. While houses in the north often had internal kitchens, southern homes just as often had detached kitchens. This helped the house to stay cool on hot summer days since the kitchen fire was lit before daybreak and stoked until well after dark. It also reduced the danger of fire to the main house. And this over here shows conveniences of the late 19th, early of 20th century. So we're going to have to come back whenever the house is actually open so I can get inside, because what I saw was absolutely beautiful. So this says visit Santa's carriage house. Well, Santa in the carriage house. But anyway.
It's right over here. Across the bridge. Or it might be up
It might be this one over here. Look how pretty this is. I'm glad we came at Christmas time, even though the house isn't open. This is so beautiful. I'm guessing we'd walk this way. Maybe. I'll branch over here for a second to see what this sign says. So this is the carriage house. James Nichols constructed this carriage house at the same time as his residence, about 1870. Its two sets of double doors allowed easy access for the carriages and wagons. The lower level has two rooms of unequal size. Stairs to the second floor lie along the west wall. The second floor could have housed one or more of the farm's many caretakers or his driver. Most likely it was used for storage. I do like these wooden reindeer they have out here. And they do have two wagons in there. Ooh, look at this. So this is Hardman's dairy barn. Dr. Lamartine Hardman already owned several farms when he invested in the Nacoochee Valley property. His concept for this North Georgia farm centered around creating an idyllic summer home for his family and using the property for dairying operations. Hardman approached dairy farming in a scientific manner. He purchased registered Jersey cows and a bull and began an extensive breeding program. So right there's some cows all the way back in 1919. That was the barn in 1919. This is big.
That's what we put the cows in right there. There it is, right over there.
Mm-hmm. I guess to keep them still. All right, there you could have got on a little stool and milked the cow, and then you could have churned butter.
You got a register on the outside of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a milk pillow right there.
Yep.
And then you got blood churning.
What was this right here for? This is nice. It says eggs on that. And that looks like a bunch of parts left over from a long time ago. Oh, that's an old stove. How cool is that? That right there is pretty. That was an impressive size barn. Look at that. So this right here was the sheep barn and bull pen. And the sheep barn was constructed in the late 1800s under the direction of James Nichols. Dr. Hardman later used the structure once located in the left of the bull pen as a sheep barn. Like the horse barn, corn cribs, and other structures, the thick stone foundation was covered with stucco. The barn originally had windows on the lower east side, which was later removed and boarded over. The sheep barn fell into disrepair and was removed. The bull pen, Dr. Hardman ordered the construction of a bullpen unpainted structure on the right in the early 1900s after making the decision to use the property for dairying operations. With its wide gable roof, the bullpen placed upslope from the dairy barn had a long run on the east side with pens and gates on the south end of the interior. Unlike the other structures on the property, this one appears never to have been painted, nor did it have detailed ornamental of the earlier outbuildings constructed during Nichols' tenure at the farm. And there's a wagon in here. I'm gonna guess that one right there is what they use to do the Christmas tours, because it's got Christmas lights on it. How pretty is that, though? Oh. And it's got the Christmas wreath on it, too. And that's an old one, too. Mm-hmm.
I know what that was a morgue that took to behind the tractor and would cut the grass. That right there is a plow that used mule. This right here was a disc, because look at the levels on it.
Mm-hmm.
That was hand levels. It came along, and there's a whole pair of hoe diggers over there.
Mm-hmm. And then you got the old
The condensers off the light poles.
Mm-hmm. And then you got random parts here.
Different things.
I don't see any sign that says what that building right there is, not unless it's a storage building. So I don't see a sign saying what that building right there is, not unless it's a storage building.
It probably is. It could be a smokehouse.
No, it's,
Smokehouse is all over the place back then.
I said the smokehouse was over there at the house.
Well, they could have had a corn crib.
Yeah, that's true.
They might tell you right here. Let's say.
Oh, must be a gear house. So it says corn cribs and gear house. Corn cribs. Most southern farmers constructed at least one corn crib, and James H. Nichols didn't differ from this pattern. The large corn crib appears to have been constructed in the 1870s. Like many of the other farm outbuildings, it sits on a massive stone piers and is clad in wood siding spaced apart to allow for the air to circulate. The gable roof features the scalloped eave trim seen by many other structures. Yeah, so that had to be it.
Oh, that's it. Oh, it's got the fence.
That one is very big. And it says, a smaller corn crib was constructed sometime later in the 19th century. It is an unusual T-shaped building with a combination of stone piers and a solid stone foundation. It does not have the scalloped eave of the earlier corn crib. Its interior is divided into 4 spaces.
I don't remember corn crib.
Then gear house. Known as the gear house or tack barn, residents of the farm used the small building to store saddles, brittles, and other horse-related gear known as tack, as it was closer and more convenient than the carriage house. Dr. Hardman also was known to keep a saddle and bridle in the gas house directly behind the residence so that he could be ready to leave when called upon for a medical emergency. So maybe that's what that was.
Okay.
Well, that's the largest corn crib right there I've ever seen.
Also
Usually they're little.
That right there is the gear, whatever.
Uh-huh. It's pretty impressive. Okay, so maybe that building up there was the horse barn. That would make more sense to be that big. So it says, this handsome horse barn, topped with its cupola, can be entered on 2 levels. The lower level is divided into several stalls, including some that are told to have held small black bears during Nichols' residence. The lower level has a thick stone foundation and sets into the natural slope. The upper level can be reached from either side, and it's one open room. The barn required major stabilization in the 1990s, as can be seen in this photograph on the lower interior. It was completely dismantled. The stone foundation was reconfigured and all of the seals replaced. Per square foot, this building was the most expensive to repair. That would make more sense. So that's
the horse barn.
a horse barn instead of a corn crib. I was about to say, they must have been some massive corn growers if that was the case. That made more sense. The other 2 buildings back there were the corn cribs, and the little one was the gear house. That is so pretty, though. Love these old trees too. I wonder how they look whenever the all the leaves are on them. Probably gorgeous. And now we're heading back up. Nice place to visit. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the video for Hardman Farm State Historic Site in, hopefully it's Sautee, Nacoochee, Georgia. And that may be completely wrong. So we passed out last year whenever we came to Helen, Georgia, and I'm like, oh, that's so pretty over there. I wish I could go. So in June of this year, we bought the state park pass for the state of Georgia, and we also bought the historic site pass. So therefore, that means we could get in for a year. First time we used it was today. So we still got 6.5 months we can use it. But it saved us $14.98 for the 2 of us. So how'd you enjoy it, Mama?
I wish there was a better way to do that instead of all that walking.
They do have a ramp to get down, because right now we're up in the air in the parking lot and everything's way down below, so you have to walk down a ramp or you have to walk down the stairs. So we walk down the ramp for Mom. And as you can see, she's ready to eat lunch. So in the gift shop, bought 2 ornaments. This one right here says Historic Hardman Farm. So that's a picture of the farmhouse and stuff. And it says it's limited edition, 5th in a series. Historic Hardman Farm. Captain James H. Nichols and his wife Kate built the house and many outbuildings in 1869. Calvin Honeycutt purchased the home in 1893 and used it as a summer retreat for 10 years. In 1903, Dr. Lamartine G. Hardman purchased the property, and it has remained in his family until the 173-acre property was donated to the state in 1999. Dr. Hardman served as governor of Georgia for 2 terms from 1927 to 1931. So that's that ornament. And then the other one that they had that I bought was the mill down the road. And actually, this is really pretty. It's decorated for Christmas in the picture on here. So that's the Nora Mill Granary. It says, built in 1876 by gold prospector John Martin. Georgia Governor L.G. Hardman purchased it in 1902 and named it for his sister Nora. The mill was a source of electricity for the Hardman Farm and a granary for local farmers. Famous for their grits, the mill is still in operation today. So we did stop in there and buy some stuff that you saw in another video.
Making meal and grits there today.
Yeah, so it's legit. They do it on site. So I'm glad we stopped. It was easier to stop today on the way back home instead of trying to come back yet again. Not that we can't come back, because it's only about 5 hours or so from the house. It's like a trip to Tennessee or a trip to Florida. But we enjoy it. So that's gonna do it for this one. I might as well start eating lunch too, since Mom's going to town over there on hers. So we'll see you somewhere else. Please subscribe. Hope you enjoyed, and toodaloo. Bye.